Hello everybody, I'm Tony Atzeni with the Iowa Sports Spotlight. We welcome you to another exciting Iowa high school football season on the Sports Spotlight radio and television network. Of course, our programming each and every Friday night from 6 to midnight, Friday Night Live, as we come to you from our flagship station AM 1350 KRNT in Des Moines, on television on WHOTV 13.2 and Mediacom channel 113, and always streaming online at sportsspotlight.com. You can get the scores throughout the night at sportsspotlight.com and 13now.com as we begin to bring you Friday Night Live again every Friday night from 6 to midnight, which will include the Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Scoreboard Show from 10 to midnight, where we go around the state with all our affiliate play-by-play voices as they recap their games of the week, as well as give you every score of every game in every class across the state. That's Friday Night Live, every Friday night from 6 to midnight, and the Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Scoreboard Show on the Sports Spotlight radio and television network. Well, let's get right to it as the excitement builds, although very hot. Week 1, Iowa high school football, where everybody's hopes are high as they set for game 1. And let's take a look at some of the games that we will spotlight for this week's action on Friday night. And we'll start in Class 4A, where two schools have split up, but very familiar with each other, as Ankeny Centennial and Ankeny High will meet in week 1 of this Iowa high school football season. Of course, the legendary head coach Jerry Pizzetti, the longtime Ankeny coach, now will roam the sidelines over at the new school in Ankeny Centennial. Should be a fun contest for the community, and hopefully the kids who have played well together over the years will learn how to get along on that football field as they bump pads in week 1 of the football season. Ankeny and Ankeny Centennial, one of our big spotlight games of the week, and of course Ankeny, the defending Class 4A champions. In Class 3A, the Decorah Vikings will return as the state champions, but they'll have to reload this year as they lost a ton of talent after last year's championship season under head coach Dennis Olenzak. And they'll open up the season on the road when they take on the Gohawks of Waverly Shell Rock. For the defending Class 2A champions, Spirit Lake Indians, it'll be much the same as it is in Vikings country, as they also will have to reload. They'll open up the season with a road tilt against Okoboji Milford. Iowa City Regina's won 3 straight football titles, 2 in Class 2A and of course last year's Class 1A championship, and come into the 2013 football season with a 42-game winning streak. The Regals will open up at home against West Liberty. Wapsie Valley of Fairbank was the Class A champions last year, and they'll begin their quest on the road on Friday night at Jessup, while Marcus Meriden Cleghorn won the 8-player title, their first in school history, and they'll open up the season on the road as they travel to Grettinger Terrell, Ruthven Ayrshire for their opening game. There are a number of other big games in this week 1 of the Iowa high school football season we'd like to put our spotlight on, and we'll begin on the eastern half of the state in Class 4A, where North Scott of Eldridge takes on Bettendorf and the Bulldogs in their big Mississippi Athletic season opener. Winner here gets a big foot forward in that Mississippi Athletic Conference race. Also in the eastern half of the state, in the Mississippi Valley Conference, a non-conference meeting between the Tigers of Cedar Falls and Iowa City High. Good test for these two teams with high expectations this season. In the western half of the state in Class 4A, a number of games have interest as well, and we'll begin with the 3A favorite in Bishop Heelan of Sioux City, traveling to city rival Sioux City East out of Class 4A. The Dowling Catholic Maroons and Cedar Rapids Xavier Saints are two teams named to be the champions of this year's field as we begin the preseason part of our schedule. But in week number 1, the Maroons will have to get tested as they travel to Southeast Polk, another team with a lot of tradition when it comes to Iowa high school football. Waukee at West Des Moines Valley is another big game watch to keep an eye on, and the running game will be the feature there, with the Allen brothers running the football out of the backfield for the Warriors, while of course it'll be Tyus Mason coming out of the backfield for the West Des Moines Valley Tigers, and also coming off a season-ending injury, a knee injury during his basketball season, but back and ready to play football for the Tigers. Other games that'll be big on the watch list as well here on week number 1 of the Iowa high school football season. We'll move to Class 3A, where Central Clinton of DeWitt will be at West Delaware of Manchester. In a rival game, it'll be Class 2A power Kemper Catholic of Carroll facing Carroll High, and Solon is at Mount Vernon. And the biggest of the non-district games meet two teams who are part of that 3A semifinal round field last year at the Unidome, as Grinnell travels to Williamsburg, with high hopes for both teams coming into the season. Some of the other big games involving spotlight teams from 2A down to 8-player this weekend include Boyden Hall, Rock Valley at Western Christian of Hall, and West Lyon of Inwood at Central Lyon, George Little Rock. And in Northwest Iowa, enough's been said about those cross-rivals, cross-class meetings between those schools. Also, South Winneshiek of Calmer will be at Nashua Plainfield, another one to add to your watch list. In 8-player action tonight, Clarksville and Don Bosco of Gilbertville, very familiar as they begin district play, District 3 action tonight, and both coming off of big Week 0 victories. So a big game tonight to open up their district play. Also another 8-player non-district matchup fits River Valley of Correctionville at Cam Avenida, who did play last week against Adair Casey, although in a losing effort. That big game under their belt should help them as they prepare for tonight's big 8-player non-district action meeting. Again, for all of the scores of tonight's action and all season long in Iowa high school football, go to sportspotlight.com each and every football Friday night, along with 13now.com to keep up with scores throughout the night. Also, the Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Scoreboard Show from 10 to midnight on our Sports Spotlight radio and television network. And again, throughout this 2013 Iowa high school sports season, we'll keep you up to date with stats, times leaders, rankings, scores, and stories, all of that at sportspotlight.com. For the Week 1 preview of the Iowa high school football season on the Iowa Sports Spotlight radio and television network and Friday Night Live, I'm Tony Atzeni. Good luck to everybody as you take the field on this Friday night.